Greetings everyone, I am RSV. Here is a general guide on what to do in mining base Retem. I recommend having 2 tower hunters, 2 people in the back row to catch enemies that get through and to deal with backhacks, and the remaining 4 people in the middle with 1 roamer. There are still 3 lanes in the Retem Wiki, although the purple base is now a lot closer to the front lines than it used to be. The Retem Wiki has a lot of terrain disadvantages as well. Enemies can spawn on the top of the cliffs, and it is harder to scale and move around the mining base. So keep in mind that enemies can spawn on top of the cliffs, and you can jump up there too and use it as a vantage point to see what is going on. So make ample use of your minimap, as the minimap highlights the towers, backhacks, and even bosses that have spawned on the map. Backhacks can be destroyed very quickly by using a barrier charge before they even spawn. However, you have very limited resources in the Retem mining base, so keep this in mind. However, you do have a barrier per person at least, so there is still 8 barriers to use. So it is important to save the barriers for situations like a Destragus shooting the tower because you were unable to kill it, though if no one was there in the first place, no one will be there to get to there in time, because the Destragus moves very quick. So it is important to keep your rolls in the mining base. Try to keep enemies away from the towers. If the enemies are on top of the towers, they'll destroy the towers while attacking you. And on that note, make sure you tag all enemies and get aggro of them. This is the most important part of the mining base. If the enemies are freely attacking the towers and left unchecked, they will be able to completely decimate your tower. The enemy attacking your tower is priority. If there is downtime and it doesn't look like any tower is under threat and struggling, go collect collector sign and contribute to your team that way. I'm going to go through the waves, though since I have done it a minimal number of times, here is what I observed in each wave. Wave 1 only has basic waves and lasts a minute 30. Wave 2 only has the basic enemies and lasts a minute 30. However, in this wave, towers spawn for the first time, and from this point on, towers are in every wave going forward. Wave 3 lasts 3 minutes. 2 non-dual boss enemies spawn, so Rock Bear, the Peanut, Walleron, Backhack start spawning and will spawn for the rest of the waves, and an Equalizer spawns. For me, it spawned at about 2 minutes and 5. I haven't talked about Equalizers yet, but they can be dealt with by moving them away from the enemies that they are protecting. This will allow the team to clean up the enemies that the Equalizer will otherwise be protecting if you can just simply move the Equalizer away from them, as their effect is an aura around them. On the flip side of this, if you kill an Equalizer, it appears to do damage to the enemies around it when it is defeated. However, it may not be worth waiting the Equalizer to die to deal with the enemies that are currently attacking the tower, as the Equalizer makes it incredibly difficult to rip aggro from the tower. Wave 4 has 1 dual boss, lasts 3 minutes, and collector sign goes up to plus 20 points per collection. Wave 5 also lasts for 3 minutes, has 2 dual bosses, one of them being Destragus, but otherwise nothing special like an Equalizer happens in this wave. And wave 6 starts by spawning the Destragus tank. On top of this, for me at least, it also spawned an Equalizer on top of the Destragus, meaning the Destragus made a beeline for the towers immediately, and there was nothing you could do about it. So being on top of this Destragus is especially important, as usually Equalizers have a grace period before their effect applies to enemies around them. So it may be possible to tag Destragus before he makes a beeline to the towers and pull him back. In this wave, more than 1 Equalizer spawns however, and a lot of towers also spawn, so keep on your toes. If you notice that your tower team is struggling, or if any of your teams are struggling, feel free to go and help them as long as your post isn't being overwhelmed. However, if your post suddenly becomes assaulted, make sure that you go back to your post immediately. I've been RSV, I hope you're enjoying the mining base, and I will see you next time.